morning, viewers, and welcome to Tobago Updates morning show. It is Monday, May 11th, 2026, and we're just coming off the cusp of Mother's Day. So I want to say to all mothers, happy Mother's Day. I know it was yesterday, but I'm still going to say to you, happy Mother's Day to you. And I hope you had a splendid day yesterday and you spent it with all of your loved ones, all of your children, your spouses. They took the time out to make breakfast, make lunch, take some of the load off of you on Sunday, and that you really enjoyed it, and that you probably spent time at the beach, you went to a restaurant. And I just want to wish you all the best going forward in this new year, and that you have a great day today. I am joined in studio this morning by Alex Brown. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, viewers.
Alex, what did you do yesterday for Mother's Day?
Made breakfast, did lunch, and presented a little gift bag.
Lovely, and I'm hoping all the gentlemen who are looking on this morning, they did the same as well.
I'm actually hoping some of them were able to do more than that.
We want to say thank you to our viewers joining us on YouTube, Facebook, on Digicel, AMPLIA, and Flow. Thank you for making Tobago Updates your #1 station. But before we get any further into the programming this morning, we head on over to news in 90 seconds. A heartbreaking Mother's Day appeal from the family of 28-year-old Caribbean Airlines pilot Kristen Battersby. 14 months after a devastating diving accident at Pigeon Point, Battersby remains on a ventilator in the ICU. His family is now urgently trying to raise $2.7 million to send him to Panama or Colombia for specialized neurological rehabilitation. Despite being paralyzed, his mother says Kristen is mentally alert and fighting every day. Donations can be made to the Republic Bank account 3500-2188-9031. Diplomatic tensions are rising in the Gulf of Paria. The Venezuelan government has issued a formal communique demanding urgent action from Trinidad and Tobago regarding an oil spill they claim originated in TNT waters. Venezuela reports that the spill has already severely impacted mangroves and fishing communities in Sucre and Delta Amacuro. Caracas is now calling for a full mitigation plan and environmental reparations for the damage caused to their coastal ecosystems. And finally, the Ministry of Health is reassuring the public that there are no confirmed cases of hantavirus in the Trinidad and Tobago. This follows a WHO report of a cluster on a cruise ship heading to the Canary Islands. While the global risk remains low, the ministry says it's closely monitoring the situation. A full fact sheet on the virus is now available on the ministry's official website. That was your news in 90 seconds. Tune in again at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast. Alex, we're seeing so many mixtures here in the news this morning. We're seeing that the young Caribbean Airlines pilot Kristen Battersby, who unfortunately still remains in ICU. I honestly thought that things were much more improved, but seeing this article over the weekend, it shows that there's much more going on.
The biggest challenge with this story for me is that he's so young. And I mean, I got a chance to talk to a couple of his former colleagues at Caribbean Air. Well, I'm not sure if it's safe to say former just yet, but, you know, people who worked with him and you know, such glowing tributes as to his personality and his capacity as a pilot and that kind of thing. And to see it all just seemingly ebbing away at such an early age is really, really saddening. And, you know, I just want to encourage people to be careful, even when you're having fun. This was really a fun day for him at Pigeon Point until. So let's just be careful in all the things we do that are supposed to be fun and joyous and that kind of. Let's just be careful, and let's not have too many more of these kinds of incidents where fun turns into serious life-changing events.
And I think so far, based on the last set of information that I saw on social media, they raised about $10,000 already, and I'm hoping that that continues to grow, that his family can at least put a dent in some of the costs that they would need to incur when it comes to his medical expenses, and that he really gets the rehabilitation and the treatment needed for him to improve.
I hope so too.
And the hantavirus discussion, we saw that last week.
It's a little bit worrisome because while we're saying there's no confirmed case in Trinidad and Tobago, I was seeing in the news over the weekend that people are allowed to disembark this vessel where the outbreak was found. And I did not hear of any kind of treatment. I'm not sure the treatment exists, but I didn't hear of anything that says, okay, we're letting people disembark the ship because we've taken steps to make sure that they can't transmit. Although human-to-human contact, they say, is very, transmission rather, is very limited. I'm not sure if it's worth the risk to just let people off without doing all the mitigation and then risk an outbreak somewhere else, because the movement of people is something about which we have no control. And so sometimes what you can find happening is that the 1% or the 0.5% of the people that may be able to transmit it, or the circumstances that exist, will exist, and then you start finding cases breaking out all about the place. And I'm a little bit concerned that I did not hear of anything that would have, as much as it would possible, guarantee that there would not be that person-to-person spread of the hantavirus.
And not only that, it brings back memories of COVID lockdown and how things were for individuals, especially when it came to working, the jobs that were lost. Also, persons who travel for leisure and business. You are perfectly healthy when you leave home, and then you go through the airport, you get to another country, you pick it up, you bring it back home. You didn't even realize that you brought it back home, and then you spread it to your family and loved ones, and there's that ripple effect. And I'm hoping that really and truly, as you said, that there were measures that they probably put in place that we just aren't aware of, and that this really remains, the risk remains low, as stated here in the news this morning.
See, the fact that no citizen of Trinidad and Tobago was on that cruise ship, or as far as we know.
As far as we know.
But when people disembark, you don't know who they would come into contact with.
Exactly.
So we're really hoping that it remains a low or zero risk for Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, viewers, we head on to the celebratory segment of our morning. It's on to our birthday shout outs this morning. First up on the lineup, we have none other than Olson Henry. Happy birthday to you from us here at the Tobago Updates family. Wishing you a bright day ahead, a prosperous year ahead, and that God continues to richly bless your life going forward.
Next is Carissa Slater. We certainly hope that you have a wonderful day today, and that your day is going to be filled with promise and pleasure, a day that is full of fun, that's safe for you and those that are closest to you. Have a happy birthday.
Next up, we have Celeste Hart Washington. When I saw this name this morning, my mind immediately went to Celeste and Reese Photography. I hope that today you take so many pictures of the moments that you're going to experience, and that you continue to reflect upon your life thus far and going forward in this new year, that you continue to capture many more moments, not just for your clients but also for yourself, and that God continues to richly bless you going forward.
Next is Ricardo Bob. A very happy birthday to you, sir. A very familiar face across the Tobago landscape. We hope that you have a wonderful day, and that the year that this day begins will be a year full of purpose, peace, and blessings from the Almighty. Happy birthday to you.
Next up, we're sending belated birthday greetings to Sheena Leith Boyce. I am hoping that you spent yesterday with all those who love, cherish, and appreciate you. It fell on Mother's Day as well. And I'm not sure if you're a mom here, but I know that would have been a double celebration yesterday to enjoy and to really embrace that aspect of life, and also to really celebrate your birthday. I hope going forward in this new year you achieve all the goals you set out to achieve.
And next on the list, Eva Marcel Lewis. Belated birthday greetings to you. Not sure whether your birthday was yesterday or the day before that. If it were yesterday, I'm certain that you'd have had really a grand day celebrating two things on one day. Whichever day it was, we hope that you had a wonderful day and that your new year is full of favor and blessings from the Almighty. Happy belated birthday to you.
And last but certainly not least, happy birthday Oswald George. Love from wife and your children. I hope that today you really do spend it with your wife and your children, and it's going to be a momentous occasion, a celebration, just to really reflect on life, and that you continue to ask God to continue to guide your path going forward.
You know who's the wife that this refers to, right?
This is Ria.
There we go.
Oh wow, this is Ria. from love from your wife, Rhea Richardson George. So I know today would be spent with lots of joy, laughter, and eats and drinks. So this has brought us to the end of our birthday shout-outs this morning. We want to say happy birthday to those of you who did not make it on our lineup. I want to still say happy birthday to you nonetheless, and that you have a great day today. Alex, what's in the lineup this morning for our viewers?
An interesting lineup this morning. First, we talk about infrastructure and infrastructure improvement works going on the island. Then we talk crime, first locally and then nationally. It's going to be quite an intense morning by the look of things, and so we're looking forward to getting the discussions going.
Yes, and after that we also have
that's crime on the national level. So
viewers, there you have it. We want you to stay tuned with us, and we'll continue the conversation right here on Tobago Updates. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Coming up, spending quality time in Antigua and Barbuda, in the Carnival Zone, and with some ocean inhabitants. The kids delivered, as always, on the track and in the pool. The power to make a difference, supporting great initiatives in St. Kitts and Nevis. There's a true Jamaican feel amidst the grandeur at this hotel. Another milestone for Trinidad and Tobago tourism. It's all next on this station.
DMK Promotion presents The Glamour and Gold Affair. The Glamour and Gold Affair. The ultimate Mother's Day R&B and reggae experience with unmatched elegance. Happening Saturday 9th of May at Vibes Event Space Tobago. Doors open at 8 p.m. Featuring top DJs and live performances by Ziggy Ranking, Royal Dainty, Prince Unique, and Black Culture Sound. Admission is $200 for couples and $150 for singles. With a premiere special, 4 persons on 1 ticket. Premier bottles, chaser, and cocktail tables. Enjoy a complimentary glass of wine and rose upon entry. Plus, door prizes, best dress categories, dress code, semi-elegant, black and gold. The Glamour and Gold Affair. Glamour and Gold Affair. Don't miss it.
Yeah. Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624-333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying with us. We're talking this morning with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We've been joined virtually by Acting Inspector Glenville Wilson. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Mr. Wilson, we usually have a weekly, as it were, running guide from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service on safety tips and so on that we can apply to various sectors in the society in the effort to make the society a safer one. What do we talk about this morning?
Good morning again. This morning we were going to be talking about safety tips as it relates to rideshare operators on the island, Trinidad and Tobago.
Rideshare. I want to start with that whole, how do I define it, as an industry, as it were.
Yes, sir.
Generally, the use of private vehicles for hire is against the law in Trinidad and Tobago. How does this work lawfully? Does it work lawfully? How does rideshares operations fit into the legal framework in Trinidad and Tobago?
So the rideshare organization is governed by authorities that has exonerated them to an extent where they can operate under the umbrella of the rideshare organization.
Okay, so there's some legal reprieve that has been allowed then. Have we had in the past, as far as you may be able to tell, incidents where this platform would have been involved in any way, knowingly, unknowingly, or have been victims of criminal activity?
Yes, we have had incidents. The TTPS has encountered incidents where persons operating rideshare have been victims of crimes. And, because of that trend, it has prompted the TTPS to sensitize the public on certain safety tips that the rideshare operators can embark on in making themselves or not making themselves easy targets whilst operating rideshare.
No, there are many rideshare companies that have grown over the past few years. We have TT Rideshare, we have Travi, we have a vast majority of them. Now, for the rideshare drivers, they pose significant threats because they never know who they're going to pick up when they accept a ride. Tell the rideshare drivers what are some of the tips that they can put in place, some measures, precautions before accepting a ride, and even if they do arrive on spot to pick an individual up.
Well, we know that rideshare is a very essential service in Trinidad and Tobago. I myself use rideshare when I go to Trinidad on a regular basis. So, as you rightfully said, it's although it's a means of employment, it's a risky task to be a rideshare operator. So, a few tips for the rideshare operators. One of the first things as a rideshare operator, when a request is made for a pickup, we have to internalize that's in terms of the driver has to make a judgment call, right? You need to use your instinct, right? If a request appears in terms of suspicion, if a request appears to be suspicious, unsafe, or inconsistent, we are asking the rideshare operators to not accept the ride, right? You are the first judge, and if your instincts say no, it won't take away from you to decline that ride, right? We are asking rideshare operators as well to avoid going into isolated areas, poorly lit streets, or locations known for criminal activity, right? You're the rideshare operator, you are the one who's driving. And if at some point in time, anytime after that request is made, you sense some form of danger or your instinct tell you otherwise, you can consider the ride and not embark on it. We're asking rideshare operators to also ensure that your phones are fully charged and emergency contacts are easily available or accessible so that you can make a quick call at a moment you detect something or if you sense any form of danger. We're asking rideshare operators to also share their location to trusted family members or friends, especially when they're working late hours. It's just you and the Almighty out there at night looking for the dollar. So we're asking you to be in contact with somebody so that in case of anything untowards, you'll be easy to track. Right? First line defense, when you access a ride and you go to pick up that person, we are asking the drivers to keep your vehicle doors locked and until you verify the passenger. So when you get that request, you make that call, communicate with the person, and you go to pick up that person. Before you allow them to access your vehicle, you will engage them, have them identify themselves. You can note of the voice if it's consistent with the person you spoke to, or if it's somebody make a call on behalf of the person seeking the ride, you will get the name to verify before they enter the vehicle. Then you grant them access. We're asking rideshare operators to equip their vehicles with visible cameras. The cameras will assist in deterring criminal behavior. Also will record information that could become evidence in case of anything untowards. Right? We are asking that for those especially at night, to ensure that there's sufficient lighting in the vehicle so that when you go to pick up that passenger, from the time you spot them, you'll begin making mental notes. And even when they enter the vehicle, we are asking the drivers to pay particular attention to details in terms of their general appearance, clothing, tattoos, anything significant about the person, just in case something untowards happen. We have cases where persons go to stations to make reports about incidents that they encountered and they are unable to give even a proper description of clothing, a dress code, anything significant, tattoos. So we're asking the drivers to be proactive. Anybody who looks suspicious, persons may be masked. You have persons making requests for rideshare. When you go to pick them up, they are standing in this dark area. Sometimes they have on hoodies, persons wearing darkers at night, persons with face masks, and these are things that we ought to pay attention to when embarking on rideshare pickups. Those are things that are sufficient to raise your suspicion. We're also asking that the rideshare operators conceal your valuables. Somebody will be a saint until Satan, until that temptation arise. They may enter as a law-abiding citizen and then they see some item, some valuable item that, that voice will tell them to pilfer or to take from your possession. We're asking that we are seeking to move away from cash payments if you are able to and you can afford, as far as possible, cause the payments to be cashless. Right? So basically, even when the rideshare operators embark on a ride, we are asking them to not make entry into the vehicle easy so that nobody can just run out of the bushes and open the car door and enter the car. We are asking that all the car doors remain locked until they verify the identity of this person and then they grant access. It's all based on your discretion and your gut feeling as a rideshare operator. And you are in control of the ride. If you have that gut feeling about something, you can consider the ride. And these tips are not just limited to rideshare operators, taxi drivers, maxi operators, or even that good Samaritan who is seeking to give somebody a lift. They can also become victims of violence and of robbery and of those crimes. So we are asking them, like in Tobago, where rideshare is minimal, we have taxi drivers who are doing their jobs at night. We even have those persons who will stop to give somebody a ride and they become victims of crime. So we are asking that persons pay attention to these safety tips. If you have a friend is a rideshare operator, taxi driver, please pass on the information to him. You know, the police are constantly seeking avenues where we can put this information out there to assist in terms of public safety. And we are saying, the TTPS is saying self-preservation first. If they come for you, they are armed with a firearm and they want your belongings, give it to them. Right? It's better to preserve life than to preserve property in situations like those. You are at the end of the day, you will live to tell the tale. The police will investigate the matter and seek your justice in these scenarios. So as I said, although rideshare is on a down low in Tobago, we have taxi drivers and other persons who can also become victims, or even persons in a private capacity. We have passengers in maxis and passengers in vehicles. We are asking, if you see something, say something. You see anything suspicious, nothing is wrong with contacting the police. It don't have to be known to the driver or the occupants. You see something, say something. You see somebody with an unusual bulge acting in a suspicious manner, an unusual bulge in their waist, you know, it is sufficient to become suspicious and communicate with the police.
Inspector Wilson, there's something I did not hear. I was wondering whether it might be a good idea for rideshare operators in Tobago's case, where it's not as active, taxi operators, to inform or advise the police when they're doing rides that may seem a bit riskier, or generally to inform the police, okay, I'm a rideshare operator, I got this call, I'm going to this place for this purpose. Would that be something that the TTPS would encourage?
Well, we at the TTPS do extend courtesy to persons from time to time. And one of our strategic goals in the TTPS is public safety. And as far as practicable, if the police would not be able to supervise each and every ride based on a request from a taxi driver for us to be present when they're picking up or when they're dropping off. But we have patrols that are out on a regular basis. We can engage them if we suspect that something untoward may happen, you know, and even that driver, we are saying, if you have that gut feeling, it's not worth it, right? We know that everybody looking for the bread, and they are out there relentless, looking for that dollar to look after their homes. But we are asking you to be vigilant as well. And as I said, the police do extend courtesy. It depends on the scenario.
And you did mention the fact that there are patrols generally. Would it be an acceptable thing to do if you find yourself uncomfortable with your situation and you see a police vehicle, try to get their attention to stop them? Would that be something that would be supported by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
Yes, anything that evolves around safety and security, you know, the police will definitely support it. I speak on behalf of the TTPS. We are big on safety and security. You know, we have seen, and we are seeing, like in the trend in Trinidad, the home invasions and all these other robberies, larcenies of motor vehicles, and you know, it tends to undermine the safety of the general public. And anything, as I said, anything that evolves around safety, we, the TTPS, are definitely going to be supportive.
Now, earlier we spoke about verification and rideshare drivers verifying that this is the passenger that they are going to be taking from point A to point B. Now, on some of these apps, you have a phone number, you have a picture of the person that is going to be a passenger. However, a ride may be made from an account for someone else. And whilst in that position, the phone number is called, the individual who is not in control of the account has the phone number and they answer and say, yes, this is me, and they pick up that individual. How do you go about that aspect of when it comes to verifying who your passenger is?
Well, there's no bulletproof way in verifying. You know, at the end of the day, it boils down to the instinct of the rideshare operator. Because if somebody makes a call on behalf of somebody, they may say to you, okay, you're going to pick up Jane Doe or John Brown. They are situated at this location, they are dressed in XYZ. And you, the rideshare operator, can be innovative in asking questions like, what is the person wearing? Is he alone? How much persons am I expecting? So even when they get there, they see the person that was described to them, they can say, well, okay, Mama, you John Brown was a ride requested on your behalf. We may not be able to, if that rideshare operator requests to see an ID card, they still can't verify how authentic it is. So at the end of it all, it boils down to that gut feeling, and if you are, how comfortable you are as a rideshare operator.
Acting Inspector, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing safety tips for rideshare drivers, and also by extension, some of these tips can also be extended to the passengers of these rides as well. We're hoping that the TTPS continues to collaborate with these industries as well, so that we make a safer community, not just for the individuals who traverse the streets, but also for drivers, the passengers, and those individuals who utilize these mediums as a form of income, honest income for their families as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a good day. And to our viewers, we want to remind you to stay right here, and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Which includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
And I have never, ever tried anything from the dirt oven.
Let's go to the backyard dirt oven on a Thursday. And talk about authentic. On entry, I felt at home. I felt like I was going to visit my loving grandmother on a weekend. The kind of weekend where she showers you with love, stories, and food. This place is a home away from home. And just like I would do at home, I pop the question, what you had to eat day? And boom! Coconut drops, boom, bread, boom, garlic bread, boom, hops, boom, coconut tart, boom, jam tart, and boom, something they call nuts. And just like that, Mistress Baker was ready to pop them in the oven. And don't worry, she had some help. And while we was waiting, I said, let me hear from Mistress Baker herself.
Well, we've been operating for a couple of years now. We started, this was a COVID project. We operate strictly on Tuesdays only. You don't keep stock, we only sell on Tuesdays.
Such a sweet lady. Hey, Olia, it's ready. When last you see a nice golden brown bread, sir? Backyard bakery for the win. Olia, a GT, a finely gummy oven bread with a little extra goodies on the side. You might be asking, where they're located? They are located on Booker Road, right on Nightingale Avenue, right before Racetrack Wheels if you're coming from town. Just look for the green hedge. You can't miss it. Pause. Check out the menu they one time. Honestly, guys, this is an experience I will never forget. It's a home away from home, a place filled with love, life, and most importantly, good bread.
Yeah. Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. We're thankful that you've stayed with us. We continue to talk crime and criminal activity in Trinidad and Tobago. We're joined by Pastor Clive Dutton, a well-known face and figure in the Trinidad and Tobago landscape over the years in the discussions with crime. He's a former member of the Police Service Commission, if my memory serves me correctly. He's joining us virtually. Good morning, Pastor Dutton, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. I am delighted to be here.
This looks like an outdoor picture you're making some of us pretty jealous in the studio. Pastor Dutton, we've had quite some interesting times over the last few years, and by that I mean we've seen so many things being purported to have been done in the fight against crime. Lastly, we can talk very openly about the fact that we are seemingly living perpetually in a state of emergency, and that to the average man on the street does not seem to translate into anything that says that we're seeing a reduction in crime, despite the numbers presented by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Initially, what are your thoughts?
Well, I want to tell you, if we develop an addiction for crass stupidity, then we'll keep going how we are going. You heard what I said? If we develop an addiction, an affection, perhaps people may more prefer that word, an affection, and I see we have a lady here with us, for crass stupidity, then we will keep, kind of anointing ourselves. Now, today, and I hope this doesn't sound as anything selfish on my part, but yesterday I read an article, Crime is Bigger Than Race and Color, which was in the Express, and I brought it before me here because I've heard voices now that, to be frank with you, I don't know if they were ever really significant in the struggle. So you may be a good commentator, but are you involved in the struggle? We were dealing with the issue, the comments of Roger Alexander take on young black men, but that is a serious problem. Let us not let us not deny that, because sometimes I believe we're in a state of denial, and that is hurting us more than all the guns, in the hot spots. That is hurting us in a big way. Trinidad and Tobago, we are in a state of denial, and sad to say, the virus has hit Tobago also, and I wait to see what will be the initiative there. But I am saying to Tobago, ensure that you do not experience the blatant disrespect for humanity that is taking place in Trinidad. That no matter how you twist and turn, there's a blatant lack of disrespect in Trinidad for humanity, whether it is children to parents, to neighbors, or parents educating their students to strike back if the teacher attempts to, get them in a space of discipline. So we don't like discipline. That's one of the problems, and we are shooting our mouths off. We continue to disrespect. We disrespect in the media. We disrespect on the street. We disrespect in the home. So that, to my mind, there's a blatant disrespect. And the third generation, all right, is going along that line. Because when I look, I mean, I have been fighting this thing for 46 years. When I look at where we are now the recipients, the beneficiaries of crass indiscipline, and it's come down to the third generation. Now you tell me, I mean, what I saw on television is not true. That a young girl holds on to a councillor, an alderman, from the Port of Spain Corporation, wherever he's from, and the next thing you know, he's on the ground. And the next thing you know is that man has been stomped upon and robbed. That is where we are. That is the extent to which the disrespect has gone. Let me go to Tobago. Why it is that a fellow has to be fighting in court right now, in the Tobago courts, he has to be fighting to get back his land that his father, you all right, put on his name, and you have a known individual who has seized that land. Now, I am involved in this case because the person came to me, all right? So you have no respect for law and order, no respect for truth, no respect for integrity. So what is happening here is blatant disrespect. Now, in the article, crime is bigger than race and color. About 2 individuals or 3 made reference to what I have called over the years the Northwest Drug Cartel. We have the Northwest Drug Cartel, you have the Southwest Drug Cartel, now you're developing a Central Drug Cartel, and you have one is the Southeast, and don't talk about Northeast, don't talk about Valencia, and don't talk about Grande. I said, and a lot of what I said is now coming to pass. I said that what you are having is an unofficial graveyard in the Valencia Grande territory. And so said, so done. Bodies are falling like flies in those communities. And therefore, we have to decide as a nation that now is the time to root out these elements. And when I say elements, I mean Honorable Alexander spoke about the issue of the young black males. And of course, it must be of concern to us. When they dine by 4s and 3s and 2s, it must be of concern. But what has to be even of greater concern is who bringing in that cocaine and the guns, Because nobody seems...
Let's just stick a pin right, because I wanted to deal with that as well. But you mentioned on more than one occasion, and I think it's worthy of mention, the issue of the young black male involved in crime. But particularly, you spoke of the school incident where females were basically assaulting and abusing a male. And one of the things that we seem to kind of shy away from public discussion on is the increasing number of females involved in crime and criminal activity. What's your take?
Well, I compliment, although, it's a difficult thing to compliment. No, people don't want you to compliment. They want you to shoot down people. But the Ministry of Homeland Security has started, to my mind, what is a great program. They went to a school in Tobago already. They may look like cherry picking, but eventually they will try to go to all schools. But what I'm saying is that we must not tolerate disrespect. That is one hell of a cancer that is hurting us more than a physical cancer. It is gross disrespect. When you could almost forget that you're a school child, you could ignore the fact that you have on a school uniform. You could ignore the fact that the guy is trying to part a fight. Because what is taking place, and the police must not get discouraged on this issue. And that issue is, there's an initiative. The initiative is to have the police in the schools. But the students have another initiative, and they are fighting outside the schools now. So You have to deal with that. Not that you don't have to deal with the schools. You have to continue with a lawful presence in the schools. But you also have to deal with the wickedness being transferred from outside the school to inside the school. And by the way, where are the parents? Where are the parents of those 5 children suspended? Where are they? Are they called to board? Are we going to know what is taking place there? What is the situation in those families? And these are hard issues that we're trying to ignore and avoid because of our affection for crass stupidity, because it's not just stupidity now, it's crass. It is, a kind of vicious lifestyle you have there. And of course, that has got to be dealt with. All right? It has got to be dealt with.
Now, Pastor Dutton, we spoke about the home and how crucial that is in terms of how our young people and society on a whole, the wider society as well, that plays how crime, as you said, the crass stupidity that is currently ongoing. But when we look at, in terms of some of the laws that are being implemented, we talk about child abuse. That's something that we have been speaking about for a while, that parents should not discipline their children in a certain way, and this is also being broadcasted to the children. So when parents are now trying to discipline, they take it upon themselves or even threaten the parent, police, or to child protective services. One of the core issues that we also need to start dealing with. What is your take on that?
And you're quite right. In fact, I will tell you something. When you have experts, these days experts as we talk about, how many of you all ever get licks in school? How many of you ever get licks at home? And they try to make it as abnormal. That is discipline. But I don't know anybody brighter than God. You know what I mean? Let's be quite honest. So we're going to the spiritual issue here now. And I want to tell pastors and all of us that we have a right, okay, to follow the word. And the word is, you don't have to brutalize a child to discipline a child, because some of us confuse the issue. And sometimes I feel some of the experts deliberately confusing the issue to get away from the real fact that we think we're brighter than God. All right? And what we have done, we have followed the North American model 125%. Okay, I could tell you a case in North America right now where the girl rubbed her skin. She was pretty fair, and she rubbed her skin like if she was abused, called the police. And the mother told the police, well, you could take me away and lock me up, but once the child is in my home, she said that child is a liar. That child rubbed her hand to look a certain way as if I am abusing the child. She says the child gives her no end of trouble, and she's decided to put a stop to it, and she put a stop to it. That's what she did there, and the police had to walk away. I have another case that I've been dealing with for the past 20 years. Imagine that, 20 years with a cocaine dealer who went to a particular police station to get him to discipline the mother because the mother took away his money. Because that guy is such a horrible addict that he went to the same pusher that broke his hand, all right, to spend money to get more cocaine. And when you check it out, the police and the cocaine dealer have a good thing going. There's a case I'm dealing with right now in 2026, all right? But that is even worse than that, where the sister is the money lender for the drug lord. And the guy has to borrow money from her, and every month he's in debt, and he's working. He's working in the Ministry of Agriculture. I'll tell you where you work in, Ministry of Agriculture. So all around you have a breakdown. We have got to decide is either we stop it now or we become the perennial victims of this criminal enterprise that is destroying the nation.
Pastor Dutton, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this morning, but certainly the underscoring of the need for discipline as a society has not been lost on us. We're hoping that sometime soon you can join us again and share more of your perspectives. Thanks again for sharing with us.
I hope so too. God bless.
To it.
You are the lovely young lady. God bless. God bless.
Thank you. Viewers, we take a short break. When we come back, we continue to talk and we're talking infrastructure, works and development. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Okay, I find you taking long to play the card. I'm all to you. I'm all in time, so good, but look at it. Yo, what school you went by?
Diane Bishops, boy.
Bishops?
Yeah,
sure,
we know the baddest that's come out of Bishops, sir.
The baddest?
But telling her,
we know the baddest. Why you want night and life and I is the baddest.
Boy, Bishops is the best, boy.
Yo, what's going on with Tola? Here, what's going on? It's only one way to settle this. We'll be live on Youth Voice TV, where I, your host, Multibase, will be hosting the Rep Your School DJ competition, where DJs will go head-to-head in a crazy battle to secure the title. We have cash prizes of $10,000 to come out and win, and a lot of amazing prizes. Guys, what are you waiting for? Let me come out, come and showcase your skills. Come, let me do some juggling.
So guys, there are two categories for DJs that are out of school up to 35 years. And for the DJs that are currently in school, it must be up to 19 years of age. So guys, get ready. It's all about Rep Your School. It's all about the DJ competition.
Who will bring the best vibes? Who can control the crowd? And who will earn the bragging rights? You get a chance to be a part and witness the rise of the new DJ generation. So this is Youth Voice, Rep Your School DJ, live on Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Youth Voice, Rep Your School DJ competition. Rep Your School.
Coming up, spending quality time in Antigua and Barbuda, in the Carnival Zone and with some ocean inhabitants. The kids delivered as always on the track and in the pool. The power to make a difference, supporting great initiatives in St. Kitts and Nevis. There's a true Jamaican feel amidst the grandeur at this hotel. Another milestone for Trinidad and Tobago tourism. It's all next on this station.
DMK Promotion presents The Glamour and Gold Affair. The Glamour and Gold Affair. The ultimate Mother's Day R&B and reggae experience with unmatched elegance. Happening Saturday 9th of May at Vibes Event Space Tobago. Doors open at 8 p.m. Featuring DJs and live performances by Ziggy Ranking, Royal Dainty, Prince Unique, and Black Culture Sound. Admission is $200 for couples and $150 for singles, with a premiere special, 4 persons on 1 ticket, premiere bottles, chaser, and cocktail tables. Enjoy a complimentary glass of wine and rose upon entry, plus door prizes, best dressed categories, dress code, semi-elegant, black and gold. The Glamour and Gold Affair. Glamour and Gold Affair. Don't miss it.
Trinidad is my home, and I always say charity begins at home. So I'm just delighted to bring this team of dedicated volunteers. Part of our motto is that we just don't send relief. We hand deliver it with care and compassion. And as I would always tell my team, the best way to find oneself is to lose oneself in the service of others.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. And as promised before the break, we're speaking with Assembly Member Natisha Charles Pantin, Division of Public Infrastructure Transport. She's here in studio with us, and we're talking about ongoing works and infrastructure across Tobago. Good morning and welcome to you, Assembly Member.
Good morning, Renessa. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Good morning, Tobago, and to my constituents. And permit me to say that this morning I learned that a resident. Preliminary reports are saying that is Mr. John, that he fell down and he died this morning in Bagatelle number 2. To his family and friends, please accept my sincere condolences, and I will be getting to that area as soon as I've completed this interview.
Condolences to the family of Mr. John from ASEA at Tobago updates. Now, Secretary Pantin, there's been noticeable increase in road works across the island of Tobago.
I'm learning that.
Now, give us an overview of what your priority has been in terms of the structure that you went about in assessing which road works were necessary and which ones you prioritized over the other.
Well, there has been significant deterioration of the entire public infrastructure across Tobago, significant, and it's all over. Right? You jump into your vehicle, and as soon as you hit the major roads, potholes. Yeah. So the first attempt was to patch a lot of the potholes in all the major corridors, right? Those main roads, we wanted to ensure that, you have a smooth transition through the roads that you would utilize every day, right? And of course, there are some roads that needed some major paving works, right? So we engaged in doing some paving works across Tobago. So it is by no means easy. We have limited resources. What has been challenging though, if somebody reports a road, they would want it done the next day, which is virtually impossible because we don't control all the factors at the division. Right, spell is no longer under us. We purchase material. Materials must come from Trinidad as well. We can't exactly say, okay, if you report a road, you're getting it tomorrow. But we have been doing our best to try to attack all those major corridors so that we can bring some relief and to create safer roads across Tobago.
And in light of some of the major corridors that the works have already been completed, there still remains the concern of there are manholes in some of these areas where the roads were paved, but because these manholes are there and they were just covered around, it now creates what you call a pothole in a sense still. So there's still that level of concern.
Yes.
What is the division planning to do when it comes to these situations? I believe especially along that Bonaccord stretch as well.
So there are several manholes. I would first let me declare that I am not an engineer, so I cannot tell you what is planned. But I can certainly tell you that we'll try our best to ensure that those are being addressed so that you have comfort driving on the roads.
There's a phenomenon that is hardly seen in Tobago when major roadworks are being done. That is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not an engineer either.
Yes.
The process is called scarifying, but it's really digging up some of the old paving before you really. But it's not something that we see very often.
Yes.
Often what we see in Tobago is that you lay one surface on top of the other, and then the road kind of becomes a mountain.
Yes.
And the edge breaks off kind of suddenly.
Yes.
And you start seeing deterioration. Are there discussions in the pipeline to change that approach so that we can have probably roads remaining at one level instead of being elevated for every time you have to resurface? And are we looking at doing upgrading of the drainage network? Because the more you surface, the faster there's water runoff, and some of the drains as they exist are not capable at this point of handling the volume of water that can come off. So is there an intent as well to look at the drainage aspect of it in terms of the road improvement?
So all of this is hinged on funding. And let me first say that I believe it's a milling machine that you would need to remove the top layer and then you pave, right? I'm not an engineer, but I know a thing or two by now.
We would hope.
Right? So we would have to purchase one or maybe rent one. But of course, everything is hinged on funding. And you would imagine that would be a lot of roads that you would have to dig up and then resurface. But definitely going forward, we have been considering purchasing a milling machine so that we can correct some of this, the height in terms of the pavement.
Drainage.
Yes.
When it comes to...
No, he's asked me about drainage, but I wanted to discuss drainage a little further down.
Don't feel pressure.
Right, but I'll still address it. So, just like the roads, the drainage network is also deteriorated, and it will be virtually impossible to fix every drain in Tobago at this time. Mind you, everybody that writes to the division, it is urgent, but again, funding is always a challenge. What we decided to do, well, clearing of the drains as usual before the rainy season, but also we're going to embark on a series of contracts, smaller contracts, small and medium-sized contracts, to sort of spur some economic activity in this space and to get things going. We promised that we would have done 50 million each fiscal. Of course, the end of this fiscal is drawing nigh, so it may be a little less to begin with, but we hope to spend about 100 million in doing minor and medium-sized contracts so that we could address some of the drainage issues. Not only drainage, that will take up that money, but you'll have some patching and paving in that. You'll have some, power washing, painting, sidewalks, some other rehabilitation works in that, caught up in that money.
Okay. Now, what I wanted to ask you under the purview of public infrastructure and transport. Now, when it comes to these that carried on the same road that your regular citizenry travels upon from the day-to-day basis, some of these trucks, they also contribute to the deterioration of the roads as well. Is there any measures or things that the division wants to implement as it relates to these vehicles, maybe in terms of the roads that they traverse on, or separate roads that you would like to implement probably in the future, just specifically for these vehicles to traverse upon, because they also contribute and play a significant factor in the deterioration of roads as well?
Well, we have to look at stronger roads. Unfortunately, we don't have road networks as massive as Trinidad, where we can designate one area just for trucks. Yeah, so we just have to look at road quality and ensure that, we address whatever, is deteriorated as quickly as we can, definitely. But again, I'm not an engineer, so we'll look at that as well.
Well, I think your answer is fair. If we need to look at it, I think that's a fair answer. One of the things that challenges the average driver is the time of road works. I often look at the time that road marking is done, and certainly we have not heard about road markings in the paving part of things, as well as some of the paving that is happening. Are we considering re-evaluating the time some of these work? Now, if it were up to me, these works would be done between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. when the users in terms of vehicles are at an absolute minimum. I don't know all that would be required for that, but is this part of the consideration in the general picture of how we approach it, as opposed to having these significant works taking place during the peak times when the roads are being used?
So let's speak about the road marking. What I met in place, a very small crew doing the painting, and now, you would appreciate that bending down continuously, that we can't have people bending down for 8 hours painting. So we'd have to look at equipment, renting equipment to get this done, and that would also be caught up in issuing contracts, right? Yes, I will definitely need that. And it's across the entire Tobago that we'd have to do road marking. But the teams are trying. They started in Wim, and you see they're coming up into Government House Road, right? At least those on the side of the road, and you will see in the west that they are trying. But in the future, we will issue contracts to get that done. There is a specific machine that you can utilize that could, speed up the process. But again, it would require some knowledge on to train persons on how to utilize that equipment. So it's it's a bit
of course additional funding.
Yes, and of course funding. As it relates to the timing, now when I got into office, right, the workers raised that they would have had a lot of outstanding time from since 2022, and in having several meetings with the accountants under this division, they said to me that there was no way to show that the overtime was paid. the workers they are claiming that they have overtime owed, right? Now, I have been paying the overtime since I came in. So what I would need is evidence of that overtime in order to pursue it. So it is challenging trying to understand why overtime in particular, you don't have a system to show that you're being paid. So we'd have to investigate that, maybe IT when they're uploading the ACH or something like that. So we promised to investigate some mechanism to let them know, okay, your overtime was paid or not. And, you know, show them that, hey, you know, don't let this stop you from working additional hours, those late hours, because if somebody works outside of the normal working hours, you would have to compensate them for that. When they work on weekends, you'll have to compensate them. And of course, if you work on holidays, it would probably double or triple time. So if you believe that your overtime outstanding since 2022, although you're getting what you're getting now, it'd be discouraging. So that is the only bugbear for us there. And I'm encouraging persons in accounting or IT, if you know a system that you can, you know, contribute to the division in any way, come forward and let's work together, because we want to create a task force to get some of this thing resolved. Because when you're dealing with people's money and they are working extremely hard, the paving and patching team, then we want to make sure that they are comfortable.
You asked a free consultancy?
Yes, free consultancy.
So let me do this publicly. I probably think you may have to talk with unions and all that, but is it not possible to switch the times that, for example, road marking is done? So if a team works from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m., that's their work day, and they're not required to show up for 7 o'clock the next day. Yeah. And so that you can probably negotiate stuff like that
with the union.
With the union, make that their work day. You'll have to deal with all the permutations of that.
Yes.
But then it eliminates the issue of overtime, because they're not required to show up for 7 o'clock and then be out there again at 11 if they do it.
Right.
So that's probably one
Yes.
possible solution.
But that's also hinged on people with families and how they're going to cater
like
for
I
their
said,
children.
all the communications would have to be worked out for.
Yeah, so it'd be voluntary, because you can't really force people to come outside of the working hours.
Oh, just shift the hours.
But definitely the shift can be considered, but that's all hinged on if they can make adjustments with their families.
Now, equipment mobilization has started in the Scarborough Market car park over the weekend. When is the paving and line marking now set for? Because it was scheduled for last week, and I believe there was a vehicle in the vicinity. So
correct. So what the division, well, just like you don't want to put the pavement even higher, right? The division could not mark the Market Square car park because there was so much loose gravel. A lot of the surface was already destroyed. So they had to power wash and remove that surface, create a drain at the back of the car park, and make sure that the surface was ready and prepared for paving. Again, I mentioned earlier that the workers were concerned about their overtime in 2022, not from my time, but from 2022. And therefore, it is voluntary. Remember, we spoke about that, that they come out on weekends. And they did not volunteer to come out this last weekend. So we're hoping that the paving, well, not hoping, but work day begins today. So we'll see. But during the weekends, obviously, the traffic would be less. So it's more challenging doing it during the weekday, but it is what it is.
And I guess that takes us right back to what Alex said. Maybe we may need to shift the time we may need to shift the time and have the conversations.
As much as Alex is saying that, it's still voluntary, because, and again, it's part of negotiation. They also have to agree to come at those hours. And people tend to, the incentive to work to get the overtime is actually what is encouraging. Because to do this outside of a contractor, this is a lot of heart, right? This is a lot of heart you're seeing here. So that little overtime that they're getting, it means a whole lot, because this is hard work in the sun. So if they are volunteering to come out early in the morning, the negotiation obviously would be extra money. If a contractor was to do this, it could cost millions. So understand that their negotiation is the overtime.
Okay. So now we're shifting a bit to the community-based infrastructure enhancement program. What exactly does this initiative involve, and what was the thinking behind it?
The thinking behind it was because of this significant rehabilitation works necessary for the entire Tobago. You know, the demands, it goes beyond the capacity of the division. And therefore, we believe that, you know, inviting persons in the space who can carry out the works, of course, creating opportunities for the building of new contractors in the space, and to pump money into Tobagonians who would be able to contribute to the development of infrastructure, the improvement of infrastructure across Tobago. So that basically is it. You want to start economic activity. You want local persons to get contracts. You want to build capacity, because a lot of the contracts being issued is millions of dollars that some people just can't qualify for because they may not have the financial backing. So it's an opportunity for growth in the private sector.
And on that cusp, as you mentioned, persons may not have the financial backing. What mechanisms are in place to ensure that the individuals that are selected, that there's transparency and accountability in how these projects are done going forward?
Now, we are building a strong team of project managers and engineers. We have existing, some have left and gone over to strategic planning, so we're still in the process of building and shaping the engineering core as well as project management unit. So they would be basically doing the monitoring and evaluation and, you know, spearheading this entire initiative. Of course, procurement is procurement, so I'm not involved in that in any way, and I should repeat that I am not involved in that in any way, shape or form, right? But the idea is to send out an expression of interest so that those who are interested in the program, that they will come forward, they will understand what is required, and there are financial institutions that are willing to come forward to support these persons that don't have the financial backing, those smaller contractors, which is excellent, because that is the problem in most instances. So it is about building capacity. And I think it's an opportunity to move away from the thinking of an early morning job, where you can make a little income, and to become entrepreneurs in the space, Tobago entrepreneurs as well, right? So that we can increase some economic activity on the island.
Now, Secretary, there's so much more we wanted to speak about, but we have to wrap up this conversation. On and on, especially when it comes to public infrastructure and transport. There's so much that we would like to do, and as you've mentioned, there are so many constraints at times that the things that we want to do, we have to limit the way that we go about doing it. But I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and giving us a bit of an update, some of the things that you are doing and that the things that you plan to continue doing. Yes. And we wish you all the best going forward.
And thank you for the questions. And I am happy that the division, the engineers, they are shaping me. And I can only improve as time goes along. But I want to thank all the men and women that, you know, they have exposed me to this new division and the works of the new division. And we come together with love for Tobago.
Indeed, indeed, and we wish you all the best going forward. Viewers, this has brought us to the end of Tobago Updates morning show. We want to remind you to stay right here. Up next, we have GMT, and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, in partnership with Republic Bank and the Division of Health and Wellness, brings to Tobago, under the global Relay for Life movement, Tobago Moves. Across more than 35 countries, communities come together through Relay for Life to celebrate survivors, honor loved ones, and raise funds for continued cancer support and research. Relay for Life Tobago Moves is carded for July 11th, 2026.
Tobago Moves signals the beginning of a new and exciting chapter, one rooted in deeper collaboration, shared purpose, and a collective commitment to advancing cancer awareness, education, and support across Tobago. It is our partnership, and we are incredibly proud to initiate with the clear intention of strengthening collaboration over time so we can better serve the people of Tobago and create a lasting, meaningful impact. On Saturday, 11th of July, Tobago Moves will come to life through two major activities. The first is a 5K run event kicking off at 3 p.m. from the Republican Car Park, followed by a high-energy burnout session designed to keep the momentum and the spirit alive.
It is truly a privilege to stand with you today in partnership with the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society as Relay for Life crosses the waters and graces the shores of Tobago for the very first time with the Tobago Moves initiative. Today's launch represents so much more than simply an expansion. This is a powerful testament to our shared commitment to reaching more communities, deepening impact, and strengthening the national fight against cancer. At Republic Bank, we are deeply humbled to be one of the title sponsors to our Power to Make a Difference program, as we believe that real change happens when we choose to lead with passion.
I truly want to commend the Cancer Society advocacy and the support to persons and families who are navigating what is possibly the most difficult experience they can get. I am actually happy that as a society, we have gotten to the point where we can actually see the word cancer. Remember when it used to be the big C? And we couldn't even say the words? So this advocacy really shows that we are moving in the right direction. I also wish to acknowledge and commend Republic Bank for recognizing that corporate leadership must include social responsibility. This collaboration is important because it really demonstrates that improving the public's health is everybody's business.
As the hero of hope for 2026, I encourage you to be part of Tobago Moves 5K as we celebrate our survivors and honor our spouses, children, family, friends, and caregivers, because you are the real heroes. Tobago Moves is not just an event. This is not just another 5K. This is a journey. One where we walk together to honor the courage, resilience, hope, and love of survivors and those who stand beside them.
Registration is open for Tobago Moves 5K and Energy Burn session. To register, search Tobago Moves at www.raceroster.com. To become a sponsor, contact 280-3353 or 280-4536.
Across Tobago, our stories don't fade. They live on in the traditions we hold close. This is the story of one woman who refused to let culture be forgotten. For the Silver Fox Lindsay Williams, a guardian of Good Friday traditions, and even in her passing, her legacy lives on. At 6 a.m. sharp, an egg is gently cracked into a glass of water and placed in the morning sun. And as the hours pass, something remarkable begins to form. Shapes, stories, signs of belief.
You see, long ago now, when fowl lay, and they could have used the egg because they never used to put egg in fridge and them thing they said the thing that sees the thing that it wouldn't rise. Make sure 6 o'clock when the sun rising, fast as the sun coming up, that coming up too.
For her, it wasn't just a ritual. It was faith, tradition, and a quiet connection to something deeper. But Good Friday wasn't complete without the heart of it all. The old school roast bake, done the traditional way, fire below and fire above. No ovens, no shortcuts, just skill, patience, and tradition.
The fire blow the fire on top. That how they used to cook long time. When the pot get hot, you put it down below. The fire must be low on top after the baking. The color that's come from the fire go down on it.
What once defined the good old days still lives on today. Through her children, her grandchildren, family, friends. A tradition carried forward. Because in Tobago, tradition isn't just remembered, it is lived. I'm Josanne Brassey, reminding you that while times may change, the spirit of our culture lives on.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Chanel Felix. And guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you won't ask. This morning, we're jumping straight ahead into our conversation, and this morning I have the privilege of chatting right here in studio with Mr. Ricardo Alfred, who is a marine surveyor, as well as Mr. Alvin Douglas, who is the VP of VP Association of the Tobago Divers and Operators. I hope I got that correct. Good morning, guys, and welcome.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much.
All right, so you guys play a key role in what happens at the marine park in different areas. For you, Mr. Douglas, you have been one of those dive operators for a long time here on the island of Tobago, and you have seen the system change from what it was to what it is today. And you have seen administration come, administration go, many thrusts towards trying to regulate the sector and trying to bring Tobago to a place of having that level of international standard when it comes to executing what we are deeming to be our tourism product, particularly as it pertains to water sport and water activities. Good morning again and welcome. This morning we're chatting a bit about the Marine Park Bill and how that has affected tour operators within the sector. Good morning and thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Right, so tell us, what are some of the initial reactions? We saw that there was a meeting that took place among some of the stakeholders within that Pigeon Point, Storby area. Tell us a bit about what some of the reactions from this bill has been from these operators and stakeholders.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again. That meeting was very eventful because you had a wide range of opinions when it comes to the bill. And that's one of the reasons why I think consultation is needed, because You have people who are saying that they don't want the bill at all. And there are people who would have gone into the bill, read it, and would like some changes. And there are people that actually afford the bill, actually understand that when you have something like that, it is designed to protect your industry. It's actually designed to protect your industry. So if your message is off, and the perception is that it's there to restrict or to put unnecessary hardship on a difficult industry, then people are going to kick against it. So that's what I took from the meeting, listening to the membership, especially people who use that area for their day-to-day livelihood. Yeah, there's an element of fear, and that needs to be explained to them that, listen, it's nothing to fear. Let's talk about it, amend it, adjust it so that
right. And I want to ask a question to both of you guys, because I was in Trinidad last week and I heard conversations surrounding Marine Park bill, and a number of persons are saying that there's a level of entitlement among Tobagonians whereby they feel as though when regulations or restraints are put in place, that to some extent, whether or not they agree with it, would be the dominating factor on whether or not that bill is passed or whether or not it is made law. And, you know, I heard persons comparing it to other bills like or other regulations or policies that have been put in place recently. They were talking about the increase in traffic fines and how, you know, the average person had no say on whether or not traffic fines could be raised. You know, they raised their concerns, but at the end of the day, you know, they have communicated from their standpoint that this is basically the way how the world works. When tragedy strikes and an industry needs to be regulated, the Prime Minister had previously talked about, you know, the fact that Trinidad and Tobago was a lawless dump when they implemented that particular traffic increase in traffic fines because of the amount of persons that were on the roadways basically breaking the law. Do you think that there is a level of entitlement, particularly within this industry, where persons think that if they agree, then it should be passed? If they don't agree, then it should not be passed? Or do you think it's just a situation where people want better consultation?
There is a level of entitlement. I'll be honest with you. When I listen to the users and the stakeholders, there is a level of entitlement. But you have to ask yourself, where did that come from? Because that tourism is a heavily regulated industry. It's just that the art of it is you're not seeing that regulation. It's supposed to be seamless. And when you have an industry that is growing and you don't have the governing body coming in and putting things in place, because there's a balance that needs to be met. The infrastructural development has to be there also. But if you're almost absent in an area, then that level of entitlement has to grow, because remember, these guys have to adapt, and there's some adaptation that they shouldn't have to make just to make the money, okay, or just to live, just to have their livelihood, right? So the entitlement is there, but it's because of lack of presence of the authority that is supposed to be there with them to make sure that everybody is safe, make sure everybody adhere to their responsibilities. Okay, so it's like the wild west, and it shouldn't be like that at all.
All right, and I want to follow up by asking, when you say the authorities are not present with them, how, help us to understand.
So I always try to explain to the average person the original attraction of the Bukuri and the glass bottom boat was eco-based. Ecotourism, you go, you're quiet, you want to go out there, you want to see the unique aspect of that and the biodiversity and whatnot. And it has evolved in some ways, and there's so much activities. But I think that the people in charge of the Bookweave has not kept pace with the amount of activities that is there. So what is happening is that if you like, let me give you an example. Zoning is one of these things that we would have advocated for, because of the fact that you might have somebody who is on a kayak, and you might have somebody that wants to just enjoy a boat ride. So you have to now come in as the authority and see a growing industry. You have to regulate it, you have to manage it, you have to make sure that, hey, wait a minute, this industry is now becoming a place where sometimes you might have an incident like a few weeks ago, and you have to treat with it. It can't be left to the operators to do that, because you have bad actors in our space. And that is why, me personally, I am not against any kind of a bill and any kind of regulation. You must have it, especially in the marine environment.
Right, and for you, Mr. Alfred, what are your perspectives there? There's this banter in the space about whether or not the stakeholders are, too entitled, or whether or not it's just a situation where greater consultation is needed, greater conversation, greater partnership. What do you think?
So good morning. The interesting thing that we are all agreeing here is that there is need for regulation. I am for the regulation. The challenge with the regulation is that it will require some further consultation, and it's just that the public or persons who we are deemed as entitled may not really understand certain aspects of it. So right now the bill would have gone before the drafting stage. It's at the drafting stage, and after the drafting stage, it's going to be read in Parliament, and it goes through two stages, and it must go through two houses, where is the introduction, then you have something called the committee stage, where you will have one fraction coming out to persons, and then maybe getting from a national body the different opinions and stakeholder engagement. After that is done, it goes through another stage where it must be passed by the both houses. And because some bills may affect your constitutional rights, a number of votes, as relates to going forward. So there is, I strongly believe that there will be the time for more consultation, where persons can actually have their opinion documented at a national level. So I believe it is going to happen, but it must be done properly. Just that persons don't really understand how a bill is passed. You just can't wake up one morning and send a bill down. It goes through a process. They have their process in which they're going to be drafting it. They, when you look at certain elements of the bill, you have certain things. Inspector is, my role as a surveyor is already mapped out in the laws, in terms of what would have qualified me to be a surveyor and stuff like that. You have things like arrests. The only person that is vested to arrest anybody is the police service. When you arrest someone, you must understand the laws. You must know exactly what the charges are, and plenty of these charges are summary offenses. It's just that persons need to understand what has been said and how it has been said. In the Tobago space, I would say that persons are asking for consultation, which is nothing is wrong with that. However, I strongly believe that it will be done at a national level, where areas will be involved, and it will be done from that level where those things can now go into amendment. But once you're affecting any kind of constitutional rights, or you want to give persons the power of arrest, these are constitutional issues that I believe will be addressed at a much higher level.
Right. But currently there is a Reef Tour Operators Association.
Yes, there is.
Right. And so that body would have to organize themselves, formally submitting those propositions to the bill even possible amendments, areas for inclusion. Do you think at this time the group as is has the capacity to make those type of recommendations, or there needs to be a level of capacity building among some of these more grassroots organizations to enable them to properly make contributions to bills and other areas that affect their livelihoods?
Of course, and that is what they're looking for. They're looking for lack of a better term, greater minds to guide them through this process, especially when there's an element of fear. So you'll have a lot of people coming into this space and attempting to guide, because what the members or what the stakeholders are asking for, that consultation, you have to understand, it's not only consultation, they're asking for guidance, because the majority of the people who work on, or use that area for their livelihood are law-abiding citizens, and they want to do right. They want to do right, but they want to be a part of the process. And if you feel like if they're not a part of the process because of a couple of bad actors, then everybody's going to be scared and everybody's going to be angry.
Understood. Yes. And, tell us a bit about, from your perspective, do you see areas in the bill that need to be rectified or adjusted so that it is beneficial to all involved? I know that, the increase in the fines was a big topic among some of the operators. What would that look like? Some person said that they thought that it was too exorbitant, the type of money that is being requested if any of them, violate the regulations. Tell us a bit from your perspective, Mr. Hawks.
Right, so the regulation is to bring order, as relates to the fines, what I would say to that, is that fines are important. The idea really, is to deter people from not breaking the law, once you affect people financially, it therefore will bring a level of control,
Mm-hmm.
What I would say to that as well is that concerning the operators, so we have a new group association which deals with directly the jet skis, reef boats, the vendors, and ATVs. The reason for forming this association is to get all of the activities in this space under one umbrella. The vendors are critical to this whole entire thing because it's a loop. They provide beverages and meals for persons who partake in that space. So what we are planning to do is to provide liability, in terms of if persons were to fall ill, in terms of food poisoning, in terms of any allergies, we would therefore come out and deal with that. We want to be able to do all of the heavy lifting and take that burden off of the THA.
Yeah.
The interesting part of this whole thing is that myself and Mr. Douglas, we own boats. I have jet skis, I have ATVs. The interesting part of this whole entire thing is to bring about structure, So again, with this new association, everybody is on the table, in terms of bringing about that change. And we do have consultation among ourselves in terms of the group, and we meet and discuss the way forward. So we are welcoming any collaboration that the division or the authorities may do, because we also want to provide some level of comfort and assurity to the public, that we are putting things in place to regulate this type of industry. We want to give trailers. We have a lot of things, we are waiting communication back from the various divisions in terms of having a meeting, but we want to give back, and at the end of the day, we have to bring back the public trust. There's a difference between the private owners and the commercial owners in terms of jet skis. We, as private owners, we don't really venture down any west side, we like to go up the coast and see Tobago, but however, it is one body, and we're going to work together again to bring about some structure for this environment, and we would therefore have to give the public some assurance, that we are putting things in place from ourselves first before dealing with the authorities, So it's still going back that public trust. That is why we are really pushing this thing, And the liability, it is immediate, in terms of what we're planning to do. It's going to be a drawdown facility. Should something happen, we are doing the heavy lifting for
right.
For the CHA.
And I know that, as I said before, administration come, administration go. This is not new. Persons have tried for years to regulate the sector and to have some level of law, order, and structure taking place within the marine park, particularly within that Buku Reef area. So what about the persons who say that this is just a temporary fix and you're going to see them going back to what they are accustomed to very soon, and the system is going to continue to revert to a situation where people are just doing as they please? Do you think that this time around things would be different and the reef patrols would be consistent and the structures that have been set out in the Marine Park Bill would actually be implemented and actioned? Because we've seen bills pass, policy implemented, no action behind it. So do you think that this is different this time around?
I think it is because, again, to add on to Mr. Alfred's point, everybody should be encouraged to be in this governing association, because the thing is that this is where people will sit and go through all the technical aspect of this specialized industry through the association, because THF really don't have any expertise in this field. They don't. Okay? And in order for the tourism on the island, if you want to speak about tourism only, almost 80% of our visitors go into the water. They play on our waters. Okay? So our expertise is needed. So what we're asking anybody who would like to venture into this industry, be it tours, marine tours, is to find themselves in the association so we can make sure, guide them accordingly, they can have a professional standard. Because what we want to do is to uplift the industry. We want to protect the Tobago, protect the people who visit our island, but we want to also lift the industry into an international standard.
Yes, and one thing I can add is that from this new association, the Tobago Water and Trails Association, we would have met with the Hotel Association, and they are supporting us 100%. I would say that this has not happened before. No. They have entrusted their full backing, behind what we want to do. So, because what we would have presented and what we would have done would require persons who are involved in these trades to be part of the association. We are not going to separate ourselves from the other association, but more or less to act like a big brother, if you want to call it, and accept all of the other association. But what we bring to the table is that financial liability, which doesn't exist. So if you are from Trinidad and you want to operate, let's say, a jet ski, ATV or whatever, you have to be part of the association, because we have rules and guidelines for the owners, and it's strict rules for these owners, regardless of whoever is in power. You have to be part of that type of arrangement. If you want to do long line fishing, you must be part of the Trinidad and Tobago Long Line Association. You will not get any permits from that. So these type of arrangement already exist. I cannot buy a maxi and go and pick up school children, and it must go through a process. So it's this approach encompasses everybody, and the most important, why we didn't leave out the vendors, because they are part of it.
Of course.
If I go to no man's land on Sundays or Saturdays, we normally buy things like maybe somebody might buy fish, somebody might buy a lobster, somebody might buy some roast breadfruit, and at the end of the day, your bill might be about $600 to $1,000, and that just from one person. So the money goes back into the industry, and it creates a loop, So it's all part of the industry, So again, I know that the people are angry. I understand. I mean, I have a young daughter who, it's a very heartbreaking thing. I mean, we do apologize for what happened. However, we are saying that we give us the opportunity to put these new structures in place.
Yeah.
And judge us after that, Judge us after that, I mean, I like to hold persons accountable, but we are dealing strictly with the owners. The owners are responsible for their workers. They are responsible for the behavior of their workers, and we will deal with them,
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for being here this morning and kind of giving us some perspectives, as some of the stakeholders, what are some of the conversations that are happening and what are some of the conversations that are needed and what are the stakeholders looking forward to moving forward. Gentlemen, unfortunately, we have to wrap up our discussion this morning, but again, I want to thank you for being here with us on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back after this. So see you soon.
Tobago Updates. DMK Promotion presents The Glamour and Gold Affair. The Glamour and Gold Affair. The ultimate Mother's Day R&B and reggae experience with unmatched elegance. Happening Saturday 9th of May at Vibes Event Space Tobago. Doors open at 8 p.m. Featuring top DJs and live performances by Ziggy Ranking, Royal Dainty, Prince Unique, and Black Culture Sound. Admission is $200 for couples and $150 for singles. With a premiere special, 4 persons on 1 ticket. Premier bottles, chaser, and cocktail tables. Enjoy a complimentary glass of wine and rolls upon entry. Plus, door prizes, best dressed categories, dress code, semi-elegant, black and gold. The Glamour and Gold Affair. Glamour and Gold Affair. Don't miss it.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. Every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment. 500 year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans. Let your goals grow. Whoa. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice.
Yeah. Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. So it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classy Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
And I have never, ever tried anything from the dirt oven. Let's go to the backyard dirt oven on a Thursday.
Talk about authentic. On entry, I felt at home. I felt like I was going to visit my loving grandmother on a weekend. The kind of weekend where she showers you with love, stories, and food. This place is a home away from home. And just like I would do at home, I pop the question,
what you had to eat day? And boom, coconut drops. Boom, bread. Boom, garlic bread, boom, hops, boom, coconut tart, boom, jam tart, and boom, something they call nuts. And just like that, Mistress Baker was ready to pop them in the oven. And don't worry, she had some help. And while we was waiting, I said, let we hear from Mistress Baker herself.
Well, we've been operating for a couple of years now. We started, this was a COVID project. We operate strictly on Tuesdays only. You don't keep stock, we only sell on Tuesdays.
Such a sweet lady. Hey,
Olia, it's ready. When last you see a nice golden brown bread, sir? Backyard bakery for the win. Olia, a GT, a finely gummy-dirt oven bread with a little extra goodies on the side. You might be asking, where they're located? They are located on Bukuru, right on Nightingale Avenue, right before Racetrack Wheels if you're coming from town. Just look for the green hedge. You can't miss it. Pause. Check out the menu they one time. Honestly, guys, this is an experience I will never forget. It's a home away from home, a place filled with love, life, and most importantly, good bread.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, ladies and gentlemen. This morning we continue our discussions, and I'm chatting in studio with Mr. Curtis Williams, who's the chairman of the Tobago arm of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. This morning we're chatting a bit about the Game Changer, as some persons may call it, one of the new hotels or the new kids on the block as it pertains to raising the room stock here on the island of Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, viewers, listeners on Tobago Updates. It's a pleasure being here.
Excellent. Now, this conversation is not one that has just started. This conversation has been going on for a long time about this Marriott hotel that's coming to Tobago, particularly Tobago West, at the Rockley Point area. And there have been persons who have vehemently kicked up a fuss about it and totally disregarded the project, stating that its environmental effect would not positively contribute to Tobago's ecosystem in the near future. While there are persons who are saying that in order for Tobago to develop, there needs to be a greater standard in the type of rooms and service that is offered on the island for tourist experience when they get here. Tell us a bit about, you have been a part of the process from the consultations that took place in the beginning to now. Do you think that the conversations and the type of environmental analysis that has gone into this project is sufficient for Tobagonians to feel comfortable with a project of this magnitude coming to the island?
Good morning once more. So what I would say to this conversation is that I say thanks to the Game Changer in Tobago, and we welcome the Game Changer. We at the Tobago Division, we welcome the Game Changer. Even as a Tobagonian myself, I welcome the Game Changer. We've seen things started to move on the island. This Game Changer will bring a bit of excitement into the space because a lot of folks have been waiting for some form of development on the hotel side. We have a new terminal building that's coming along, and we are looking at direct flights coming into Tobago, and bringing all these direct flights to Tobago. We need to put these people in beds. And when we look at the island, we've seen that some of our 3-star or 2-star hotels really need some work to be done. And some of these folks that coming in, they want to go into 4- and 5-star hotels. And it has been said that many years I've been in hospitality for over 20 years. And I can tell you, even since 1988, when I was at hotel school, it was then hotel school in Trinidad, we were talking about development in Tobago in terms of hotel. And so it's definitely that in order for Tobago to move to that whole tourism destination, we need to have some brand name hotels here. And I'm happy to know that Superior Hotel have passed that hurdle of the AMA. Through the AMA consultation, I was there from the beginning, so I can give you the history. I have been to all the conversation they had with the public, and I have given the assurance that I heard every aspect of concern being addressed by all the stakeholders. So I'm a bit shocked to know that there's still someone, after the AMA have gone through this rigorous process. I mean, they have gone through all the process with Marriott, Superior Hotels. That's the owners of who's going to be doing the development, and they have been through all the process. I mean, every single aspect of it. We went through everything, down to where they indicated that there's a historical site there. We went through the whole thing. We brought in people, and I mean, they went through every living thing. And to see now that somebody out of the woodworks, I don't know who is these people or person who
I believe it's the Rocky Point Foundation.
I don't know what agenda they have. I really don't know. But we have been through all the process. And then now the AMA granted the Superior Hotel the clearance to go ahead, and they know they had to do town and country. They have to do all the planning and the design, because they haven't really planned and see, because the town and country could tell them, okay, you only could do 100, you could do the X amount, you could do this, you could do that, and they have to go through all of that process. They still have town and country to go through, and the more process still to go through. They even have WASA, because WASA was there, I remember, at one of the consultations. So somebody was talking about the runoff, and WASA was there, and WASA spoke about that at length. So who wasn't there would have never understand. At length they spoke about it. So I'm kind of pulled back to see, hearing headlines over the weekend about this. It's really stunning to know that Tobagonians, I don't think it's Tobagonians. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm in awe that after all of this, then you still have an entity or a person having issues, and that become a big, red flag. No red flag at all. That's not a red flag at all. I think that there's some people I don't know if it's mischief or what, but there's no red flag, because the developer, I was there, they went through everything till I asked myself, wow, is this so much? This one developer have to go through? Did any other developers have to go through this? But the gentleman and his team went through a lot, and I think it's time for us to move ahead and get things going into.
Do you think scenarios like this one prohibit or discourage international investors from wanting to invest on the island? Because for developers who have done development projects globally, this might just be routine. But you see a situation where there's a foundation coming out to protest. This is something that happens everywhere. Let's not, have the idea or, put the conversation out there that is only in Tobago, that persons will come up and kick out against any type of environmental impact that they, don't see as being a benefit to the ecosystem in the long term. But how do we strike that balance between ensuring that individuals or stakeholders, they have their voices heard, but yet we are able to attract the type of international investment that we are saying that we want in order to improve what we are offering to the world when we say greatest little island on the planet? We need infrastructure for that. We need a number of things for that. We need, just increasing our service offering, expanding what our tourism product is, or even being able to properly define what that tourism product is and who we are targeting exactly. How do we balance that?
Two things I want to mention. One, that this developer is from Trinidad and Tobago. It's not a foreigner. It's a local developing a hotel. They're taking their own money, not government money. They're taking their own finance. They're taking finance and do this development. The second thing, that the developer went through the process. There's a process, and we have to recognize and understand and respect processes. There's a process, and the developer went through the process and still going through the process. He didn't just come and just start doing things. And he went through the entire process through the AMA. The AMA is the watchdog for us, and we have to live up to institutions. We have to have faith in institutions as best we just do anything we want. So there's institutions there, as you were speaking to the guys early on, there are institutions that would develop policies and process, and we have to follow those. It's the same thing like the marine park. There are policies that they want to put in place and to govern the marine park, and now that the policies were put in place and the stakeholders will be aware of the set policies to govern it, because everything is just being done. But we must respect and understand the process. If we don't respect and understand processes and institutions, then all hell break loose in Tobago. So there's the EMA to govern environmental protection of the country. We respect that. There's the judiciary to govern laws and so forth of the country. We must respect them. We cannot come on our own and become industry expert, and we know this and we know that. There is a process, and there are institutions to govern those process. The lawyers belong to the court, and the court listens to the lawyer, the judiciary process. So there's a process. You can't go in court and say, I will be my own lawyer. No. The judiciary said, no. You need to get representation. Whether it's going to be you paying for it or whether we're going to give you the representation. But you cannot go in court and say, I don't understand it. Because first of all, you don't understand the rules of the court, much less the law. We're not even talking about the law. We're talking about the rules. So you in yourself cannot just jump up and say, I could do this and I could do that. And having a undergraduate in law doesn't mean that you're a lawyer. You still have to go and be accepted to the bar, and you have to follow the rules. And that's what we have to get institutions, have to get strengthened in Tobago and understand. People have to understand that as well. So the developer did what he have to do, and then we had to go through it. And I think the developer and the EMA give all concerns the time to submit all that. Listen to me, they give this. I was there, and I tell you, hours we went through all the concerns. There was nothing left to know. There was nothing left. We went through every single concern that this development, that we, the Tobagonians, could have about this development. And I mean, we bring in everybody. I don't know who else we left out. There was a woman, even she spoke about she going to the site and sit there and talk and read books and talk to the birds. And I mean, they went through every living thing with these people. And I don't know what it is now. Sometimes I ask myself, what is the agenda? What do we want for our island? And Tobagonians, as a Tobagonian, we need to understand what we want and go with some kind of force to get it done. Because we can't be sitting here and just playing. We're playing around. We're playing games. And we're really playing games with livelihood and development of the island.
Right, and let's talk about the economic impact of this particular project, the Marriott project, but it also is connected to a number of other things. You have homes that would be sold there. So it's a hybrid type of accommodation project.
Correct.
Right? Let's look at it from the economic perspective. Is it that a project like this attracts buyers from outside of Tobago? The construction, how does it impact local contractors, service providers? How does it really help to boost the economy outside of the tourists coming in and having accommodation to stay at? Because we have accommodation in Tobago. It's not like if someone lands here they don't have somewhere to stay. Currently we do, but we're talking about creating products that are at a global standard and increasing the service offering. How does that impact us locally here? This particular project.
As you see, the excitement starts to spread around the island. There are other developers who want to come in this space, maybe looking at boutique-type hotels. We know that in Roxborough, we have the Hilton was doing some villas up there, that type of hotel. That's a high-end. And look at the effect. Look at the jobs that will be created. Let's sit down and think about it. Marriott taking 500 jobs. Look at that creation of 500 jobs, that off the THE know how to release 500 people, all who want to do the morning work. Hey, you got a full-time job here, and then you could earn real money. Real money you could earn from that. Look at the development in terms of the students and them who want to study hospitality and looking out for this international, because an international brand, the kind of jobs you will get from these brands is amazing. You can see. Let's look at the ripple effect. The taxi drivers, the tour operators, the same marine park people, all these folks will be having a ripple effect. Because when you have over how much guests? When you have over 300-400 guests on the island, on a monthly basis, and they're taking part and spending money throughout. You know, all that ripple effect going down throughout. They produce the farmers, the fishermen, and all of them, the livestock that they will be asking for. And then, I mean, just in the construction phase, you can see how much workforce we will need to do that. And then coming after the opening phase of the hotel, there's so much ripple effect that you will have in terms of economics going down and the effect. And then this now will just make the way for another brand name to come in this space and engage. That will tell us a lot, because we're going to have a new terminal building. Whether we like it or not, they're going to open it. We don't want a white elephant. So we have to have direct flights coming here. We have to have flights coming through there. It has to be worth our while for someone running a concession booth to say, hey, I have a concession booth down there, and not every 10 hours somebody pass through, or every 5 hours. So people will be passing through and patronizing my booth. So we've seen all that knockoff effect of just the Marriott brand being here and the other brands that come into this space. And I'm happy to it. I'm so excited to see that the brand is coming. And I know the Marriott brand. I've been a Marriott Club owner for years, over 15 years. So I can tell you about the brand. I can tell you what Marriott brings to a space and the type of quality that it brings to the space. And it's a brand that is very conscious of environment. It's a brand that is conscious of everything that goes on around it. So it's not just somebody that's going to put up a hotel and do what they want and all that stuff. No, it's not going to happen like that. It's a brand that is conscious of everything that happens around them. And I welcome the brand to Tobago. And I've seen what the brand have done to other islands, up the island, and even international. And I tell you, if we have a Marriott brand in Tobago, we're going in a good direction. The excitement is to get the people ready to take advantage of the opportunities that will be placed in front of them. And they have to be equipped and ready. And that's what we had to get Tobagonians to do, get ourselves equipped and ready for the brand that is coming and the trust that tourism will bring with that brand.
Understood. Well, we want to thank you so much for bringing those perspectives for us this morning on the topic. What would be, getting ready? Yes, that's a big thing that a number of businesses need to do. But from the perspective of the chamber, how are you guys, helping to build that capacity or helping to equip businesses on the island to be ready for that influx of tourists that can follow with this hotel, or just the raising standards that this project can foster on the island?
Well, we at the Tobago division, we have started the conversation. This week we are going in depth in it and working on the formula that we could use to bring business up to the state of readiness. We are asking anyone, a small business, might be your electrician and you want to do your own business. The chamber doors is open, and we are asking you to get in touch with us, because we are starting some foundation workshops that can assist you in building capacity and getting you registered. Those who want to work for the government, who want to do something with the government, we are getting you ready with the AMPLIA system, getting you in compliance. Those who want to be bankable, there's loan facility that we are offering, not the chamber, but we are here to assist you to get these loan offering from, whether it's from the THA assistant loan or directly from the bank. We are getting you bank ready. And so we ask you to contact the Tobago division of the chamber. We are right in Scarborough, downtown Scarborough. Our numbers are 639-2669. And look at us on our Facebook page, tobagochamber.org. And we are there. I want you to come down and take advantage of all these programs to get your business ready. And for those who need to scale up, come have a conversation with us. We are there to help you to get your business in that state of readiness for the tourism trust that come into Tobago.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Williams, it's always a pleasure having these conversations with you. Unfortunately, we are out of time this morning, but ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. I want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a wonderful day.
Tobago Updates.